Today, I'm going to talk about removal and what that means, what it will do for you, and how it has helped me and impacted my life. And so, removal is just basically the first step of my program in which I help people remove negative things from their life, something that at times may not seem like a big deal, or you've been trying to and have failed to remove this. So, I believe that if you don't remove toxic things or negative things, bad habits from your life, it's going to just keep you in the same place, keep you stuck, or it's going to bring you back. You're going to sabotage, you're going to regress. And it's going to be difficult to implement something positive like exercise, diet, maybe prayer life, or if you're trying to, let's say, learn something, read more, whatever you're trying to implement that's positive, it's going to be difficult if you have a lot of negative things that you're attached to. So that's why I like the first step to be removal. And so how I came across this was you guys know the story of how I began fasting, right? And I knew there was things that I needed to remove from my life, but I just didn't know how. And I knew they were holding me back. So when I began fasting, this is something that's difficult, something that's harder than most of the things that I do throughout my day. The same with exercise, but we're going to focus more on fasting. So I began fasting and I would fast for 2 days, for 3 days. At times I would extend my fast even longer than that. But if you're going to fast, I would say don't do anything over, let's say 36 to 48 hours. Um, but you can even do a 24-hour fast doing one meal. If you need to learn more about fasting before you try it, I have a link on my Instagram that is free. You can go and watch How to Fast. It breaks down all the benefits and the steps and what to consume with your water when you fast. Back to it being challenging. So fasting is challenging, right? So I'm doing these fasts for a few days, and then I realize this is probably the hardest thing that I've done for this long. And so I had weeks and months had went by that I was fasting, basically not eating one day, and then I would eat the next. And then at times I would extend it even longer. And so this really gave me a different perspective and really um, a, a renewed self-control to be able to say no to things that I'm desiring and wanting extremely bad. And so if I can say no to food for 48 hours or for 3 or 4 days, then I know I can say no to the things that I was attached to daily when it comes to like the bad foods I was eating, to the overeating, to alcohol, to over consuming entertainment, to video games, or whatever things that you might be attached to in your life that are instant gratification, anything that basically gives you a high that you have no work put into. That's instant gratification. And a lot of times those things are going to keep you from pursuing something of value, pursuing something of purpose. And so when we can remove most of the instant gratification out of your life, the ones that you're attached to and that you're using to waste all of your time that you could be putting towards yourself, towards doing something of purpose, helping other people, being an impact on the people around you, and even just all around better example. It's going to start with doing something difficult so that way you can remove those things. So when I started doing these fasts and realizing that I was able to have more self-control and I was able to see a lot of myself advancing in a direction that I really liked. And I was like, I'm becoming more of who I envision myself to be. And then it became easier to start implementing new habits that were going to push me even further. So if you're starting off and you feel like, oh, there's so much work to do, there's like I got to do all these changes and it seems kind of overwhelming. But once you start to fast or you start to do something, one thing that is a good habit, it starts to snowball and you start to implement other things in your life and you start to see progress and it motivates you even more to change other aspects in your life as well. Um, so the point I'm getting at is do something difficult so that way everything else that you need to remove will be easy to say no to. It'll be easy to remove. And you don't have to always follow your feelings and go for the things that your emotions are telling you to do. You can say no to those things and then go towards something that is going to be productive. So once you've done a fast or you've done something that you decide that is going to be difficult and going to allow you to overcome a lot of these instant gratifying actions or habits, you then want to start implementing good habits, replacement. So it's turning away from a lot of the vices, turning away from a lot of things that you're attached to, And then when you turn away from those things, you're going towards something else. You're going to start implementing new things. So instead of, let's say, scrolling on your phone so much, you can implement now a prayer time. You can implement now reading the Bible or reading some type of personal development. You can implement exercise. You can implement family time. So things that are going to replace what you were doing with that time. And then over time, once you start to see progress, you start to see yourself being consistent and disciplined in these areas, it'll start to prove to you that when you're consistent and disciplined, you receive something so much more rewarding. You're proud of yourself, you're happy with who you are, rather than when you commit to a lot of instant gratification, you start to feel shitty, you start to feel bad and not proud of yourself and not happy with what you're doing with your life. Like there's something that's not there. And there's always things that we can get into that are deeper with, your spiritual life and stuff like that. But the changes start with these small things that we're going to turn away from. And then the same with, the exercise, the fasting, with the prayer life, and with the reading. These are going to be small steps that are going to lead into you becoming, somebody that you envision. It starts with these small eliminations and steps that you're going to take to then over time, you're going to start seeing yourself building up to the person that you want to become. And then you start to see like, wow, I'm reading the Bible more consistently. I'm praying every day. I'm working out every day. I'm fit now. I'm healthy now. And so it's not all going to happen in one day, but there's going to be building blocks along the way. And that first step, that first block that we have to plant is removing the vices, removing sin, removing the instant gratification that we're attached to. And we do that by implementing fasting or implementing something that is hard, difficult. Again, if you want to learn more about fasting, I do have the fasting course on my Instagram. You can go through that, and that'll get you started on doing something challenging and beginning your path to removing vices, removing instant gratification. Thank you.